In Washington Township, Michigan, we're having a little trouble with the feed. I think we can still make it out on this other camera. Let's listen back into the president, see if we can hear him. Nope, I don't think so. It's dropping in and out, and sometimes that happens with the satellite feed. President Trump's been going now for the better part of 40 minutes. He started about 7:20, and we're coming up on the 8 o'clock hour in New York, and we expect this rally to continue for some time, as he had just started to tell a story, the same one that he had told the other day in front of the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, about how he had saved so much money with the embassy being built in Jerusalem. They told him it would cost $1 billion, and I think he was about to tell you that he got it done for 200 or 300 grand, whatever it may be. So we will hopefully get you back up to Michigan once that shot is up. But as we're coming up on the top of the hour, the Fox Report is wrapping up here this Sunday, April 28th of 2018. I'm Connell McShane reporting. Thanks for watching. It's now time for Watters World.
Welcome to Watters World. I'm Jesse Watters. President Trump speaking in Washington Township, Michigan. Let's listen in.
We had the best site in all of London. The best site. Well, some genius said, we're going to sell the site, and then we're going to take the money and build a new embassy. That sounds good, right? But you have to have money left over if you do that. So they sold the site for I think, and I'll check the numbers because they'll say, oh, well, he misrepresented it, but these numbers are close enough. They sold the site for $250 million. They think they're geniuses. They go out and they buy a horrible location, and they build a new embassy. That's the good news. The bad news, the embassy costs over $1 billion. So now what do we have? We have an embassy in a lousy location, and I was supposed to cut the ribbon. I didn't do the deal. It was started by Bush and Obama. It was a Bush-Obama special. Okay. But it could have been stopped by Obama. Would have been stopped by me. So they have, listen, they have. So I said, what kind of a deal is that? You sold this great site. It's the best site in London. Literally, the best site. They were so happy they got $250 million or whatever. But they spent all of that money plus a lot more to build a new embassy in a lousy location. So, I don't know, folks. We need a whole new thinking here. We need a whole new thinking. We need a whole new thinking. We're going to finally put America first, okay? Since the election, we've created more than 3 million jobs, including 300,000 new jobs in manufacturing. We love manufacturing. By the way, they wanted me to cut the ribbon on the new embassy, and I was all set. And then in the end, I said, I'm not going. I don't want to cut. I said, I'm not cutting that ribbon. I said, I'm not going. All right. Hey, hopefully we'll have many years of success with that embassy. Okay? In our country, jobs are booming and confidence is soaring. We're at the top of the charts. And they're talking about us all over the world. They're talking about this incredible success. And believe me, if I didn't get elected, if the opposition party, which I call the obstructionist party, they're obstructionists. That's all they're good at. If they got elected, they wouldn't have cut regulations. They wouldn't have cut taxes. You would have been down to a GDP that would have been negative. You would have had a negative GDP. And wait till you see over the coming quarters how good it's going to be. And you see what's happening. Our companies are ready to soar. They're ready to soar. Wages for the first time are rising at the fastest pace in many, many years. 18, 19, 20 years. And I tell you, I always would go around and I'd say to you strongly, people have jobs. They made more money 21 years ago than they make today. And in some cases, they have 2 and 3 jobs. Terrible. African-American unemployment has reached the lowest level in history. In history. Hispanic unemployment. Any Hispanics in the room? Hispanic? Nah, not so many. That's okay. And by the way, in all fairness, Kanye West gets it. He gets it. He gets it. And he saw that. When he sees that African American unemployment is the lowest in history, you know, people are watching. That's a very important thing he's done for his legacy. It's a very important thing. But Hispanic unemployment, lowest level in history. Women, female unemployment, lowest level in 18 years. And wages are going up for the first time in many, many years. It's great. As a result of our massive tax cuts, which, by the way, Debbie Stabenow voted against. And if they get in, if the Democrats get in, they're going to take the tax cuts away, and they're going to raise your taxes to a much higher level than you ever thought possible. That's what they want to do, so they can give the money away. Millions of Americans are receiving large bonuses and bigger paychecks than they've ever received because they have so much money that they didn't even know they were making. You see what's happened as of February 1st. And right after the cuts, the corporations gave massive bonuses, and they continue. Here in Michigan, Chrysler handed out $2,000 bonuses to 60,000 workers and announced plans for a $1 billion investment in Warren, creating a minimum of 2,500 jobs. They're now leaving other countries, and they're coming back to Michigan. Remember, I told you that 5 or 6 years ago. They're now coming back, and they're going to come back a lot faster than you've seen. And you know what's even more important? They're not leaving, because we don't give them the incentive to leave anymore. They used to give them incentive to leave. We're not giving them incentive. No, we're giving them incentive to stay and to pay our people. But to protect our families, we must secure our borders. And the good thing about the caravan, people are watching. People are watching. You watch how horrible. They're coming in from Honduras. They're coming in from other places. They're taking this long trek up Mexico. We want Mexico to help us, and we have to demand it, but Mexico's going to help us. But there's still hundreds of people that out of maybe 2,000, there's still hundreds of people. And our laws are so corrupt and so stupid. I call them the dumbest immigration laws anywhere on earth. If a person puts their foot over the line, we have to take them into our country. We have to register them. We then have to ask them a couple of questions. Lawyers are telling them what to say, how unsafe they are. And once they say that, we have to let them go to come back to court in like a year. Only one problem. They don't come back. Okay, that's the end. Welcome to the United States. This is the law. And we have at the border the greatest people, the Border Patrol, the ICE agents. These are great people. These are great people. And the laws are so corrupt. They're so corrupt. And you know, one of the reasons they do it is because the Democrats actually feel, and they're probably right, that all of these people that are pouring across are going to vote for Democrats. They're not going to vote for Republicans. They're going to vote no matter what we do. They're going to vote. So there is a theory that they do it for that. They do it for a lot of reasons. A lot of times they don't even know what they're doing. They don't even know why they're doing it. But we have to have borders, and we have to have them fast. And we need security. We need the wall. We're going to have it all. And again, that wall has started. We got $1.6 billion. We come up again on September 28th. And if we don't get border security, we'll have no choice. We'll close down the country because we need border security. So we don't have a wall, but a big portion's being built. A lot of it is being fixed. We have wall that wasn't wall. We have wall with big holes in it that's old. And a lot of it is being fixed right now. And we're putting up brand new gorgeous stuff. We're building new, as I told you, in San Diego and other places. But we want to now do the big job. So we're going to see what happens. But we have to have border security. The one good thing, watch the caravan. Watch how sad and terrible it is, including for those people, because they come up and the crime that they inflict on themselves and that others inflict on them. It's a horrible, dangerous journey for them, And they come up because they know once they get here, they can walk right into our country. We have the greatest people on earth, and they can't do anything because the laws are corrupt. The laws are corrupt. So we have fought to secure our border, but Democrats in Congress, Nancy Pelosi, Schumer, they've opposed us at every stop and every step. They've opposed every effort to close the loopholes, to keep the violent criminals like MS-13 the hell out of our country, and to stop the flow of illegal immigrants and drugs which are pouring into our country. And we've done a great job. And the numbers are great. But, you know, part of the problem is people are smart. And they see how ridiculous these laws are. They know if they can get anywhere near, once they touch our ground, it's called welcome to the United States. How crazy is it? How crazy are we to allow this? So I will tell you, the Republicans are working hard. And Debbie Stabenow is one of the leaders for weak borders and letting people in. So I don't know how she gets elected. A vote for a Democrat in November is a vote for open borders and crime. It's very simple. It's also a vote for much higher taxes. It's also a vote for be careful of your Second Amendment. Okay, be careful. Be careful of your Second Amendment if they get in. The open border policies of the Democratic Party are not just wrong, they're dangerous, and they're, in fact, deadly. They're deadly. They make no sense. They're deadly. Their policies let gangs, some of the most vicious gangs in the world, pour into our country. They pour into our country. Do you know on Long Island, you have gang members that are so tough that we send in these incredible ICE agents. But you know what? The ICE agents are much tougher. And they're grabbing them, and I'll tell you what. A doctor, please. Doctor. A doctor, please. Yeah, take your time. Take your time, darling.
So President Trump speaking live tonight in Washington Township, Michigan. It looks like in the middle of the speech, a man or a woman became ill. We don't know what happened to that person, but people were asking, is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor in the house? So the president has paused the speech and is showing some concern for this individual. And as a doctor comes there, he's making sure everything's okay. And, you know, these things happen. We remember these things happened at some of the Obama rallies where people would pass out, people would faint. We don't know exactly what happened to this person, but it's obviously very serious. And the president very concerned about it, very compassionate about it, not going to speak while this is happening. And obviously cares more about the person than the speech, and is doing something all humans would do. Just stop this, make sure this person is okay and attended to and taken care of.
Those are the people we love. Those are great people, I'll tell you. And the doctors, thank you, doctor. Thank you. Great job. Amazing. What people we have. What people we have. So we have to keep going the way we're going. You know, what we did was they call it a miracle. I don't think it was a miracle. Do you remember on Election Day, because it was really the day before, but it was 12 o'clock in the evening, when I started speaking, Grand Rapids, he says Grand Rapids. And I said, and it was an unexpected stop, but I heard the opponent was going out with the president, and they were going out also unexpected, and they had a very small crowd. But when I heard that, we left where we were. We said, let's go to Michigan, right? Grand Rapids. And I got there at 12 o'clock in the evening. Remember that? And I said, how's the crowd? We couldn't even get near the arena. There were 32,000 people. I finished speaking at 1 o'clock in the morning on Election Day. Remember that? You were there. 32,000 people. Now, Michigan hadn't been won in many, many years. And I said, wait a minute. We had 32,000 people. I got home at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I said, tell me, why are we going to lose Michigan? Why? We had 32,000 people. 1 o'clock in the morning, and even beyond, nobody left. Everybody was, we had a great time, right? And I said, so why are we going to lose Michigan? And they said, because the Republicans lose Michigan. I said, wait a minute. I'm bringing the cars back. I'm bringing the plants back. I'm bringing the jobs back. We're going to win Michigan. And we won Michigan, I think, quite easily. Right? Remember that? I always said, I made that speech. That was my last speech. I made that speech on Election Day, because by the time we finished, it was 1 o'clock. It was Election Day. This November, every American will face a choice. Now, they say if the House doesn't make it, very important. You have great congressmen. These are great people. These are great, great people. And thank you. But we have to keep the House. Because if you listen to Maxine Waters, she goes around saying, we will impeach him. We will impeach him. Then people said, but he hasn't done anything wrong. Oh, that doesn't matter. We will impeach the president. So I don't think we're going to have a lot of happy people if that happens. I think it's going to be a little bit tough. But she goes around, and some others, we will impeach him. Doesn't matter if you do anything right or wrong. They want to do that. We got to win the House. And you know what? We're going to win anyway. But we're going to win the House. We're going to win the House. Now, historically, when you win the presidency, the person that wins, the party that wins, does poorly in what they call the midterms. And the reason is, I guess, you take it easy a little bit, right? Something happens. I guess it's 93, 94% of the time. This is over a long period of time. I don't know what you get. You know what it is? You get complacent. We cannot be complacent. We got to go out, right? We got to go out. We got to go out, and we got to fight like hell, and we got to win the House, and we got to win the Senate. And I think we're going to do great in the Senate, and I think we're going to do great in the House because the economy is so good. The economy is so good. And because if you look at us all around the world, we're respected again. We're not pushovers anymore. We're not pushovers. You saw the president of France. He came in, great guy. Chancellor Merkel came in yesterday from Germany. No, it'll all be fine. Look, again, don't blame them. Blame the people that used to stand here with much smaller crowds, but that's okay. Blame your American presidents and your American representatives. But it's not happening anymore. We're respected again. As a nation, we're respected. We're not the patsies anymore. We're not the pushovers anymore. By the way, speaking of not being a patsy or a pushover, you ever watch Corey Lewandowski on the shows? Where's Corey? Corey. And David Bossie. He also had very little experience. He only ran one campaign and he won, so he's 1 for 1. Corey, say a few words.
This is Trump country! We love you, Michigan. Thank you for supporting Donald J. Trump as your next president of the United States. Thank you very much.
Thank you, fellas. I saw them back. They work hard, and these are great people, and we appreciate it. They really, really appreciate it. Okay, ready? So we need more Republicans. We got to get more Republicans. Because, you know, they say we have a majority. Well, 1 in the Senate, very few in the House. We need more to get it done. We're going to get it done one way or the other, but we need more with your help. We're going to elect more Republicans, and we're going to deliver even more. Now, again, other than health care, which, frankly, we got rid of the individual mandate, which is the worst part of Obamacare. We're doing association health care very soon. It's coming out over the next couple of weeks, which is going to be incredible, where you're going to buy great health care, highly competitive. Remember, I used to talk during the debates, get rid of the state lines. We're getting rid of the state lines. You'll be able to go out in groups and buy great health care at a very low and competitive price. And essentially, we are getting rid of Obamacare. Some people would say, essentially, we've gotten rid of it. But you no longer have the individual mandate. You remember what that is. That's where you had the privilege, a privilege of going out and spending a lot of money so that you had the second privilege of not having to buy health care. So you paid for the privilege of not buying health care. We got rid of it in the tax cut plan. Big thing. Big thing. That was so unconstitutional. But that was the worst part of Obamacare. We got rid of that. And you see what's going on. And we're really producing. And except for one vote. Remember the one vote? 3 o'clock in the morning, thumbs down. What a vote that was. What a vote that was. That was some vote. But despite that, it's going to come out great. So we've gotten rid of a lot of Obamacare. We're going to get rid of the rest. We got you, the tax cuts. We want every American to know the dignity of work, the pride of a paycheck, and the satisfaction of a job well done. There's nothing like it. Together we can lift millions of Americans from welfare to work, from dependence to independence, and from poverty to prosperity. We're supporting job training, and we're supporting vocational schools, right? Vocational. You know, I said to the guys, I said, these community colleges, they're wonderful, but nobody knows really what a community college is. When I was growing up, we had things called vocational schools. And I'd go to a school, and I'd be sitting next to a guy. I never looked at his papers because he didn't do well. And on the other side, I'd have somebody not too good. But you know what? They could take an engine apart blindfolded and fix it. They could build a brick wall better than all of the guys in the class and gals together. They could do things that nobody else could do. And nobody knows what a community college is. We're going to start using, and we had this, vocational schools where you learn trades, and you'll do it, and you'll love it, and you'll make much more money than anything else you can do, right? And those are the people we need in our country right now. We need skilled people. And when people come across the border, we want to take them in, but we want to take them in based on merit, not based on a lottery. Lottery. We want them to come in based on skill and based on merit so they can love our country, they can help our country, they can do things for our country, not come in based on some random lottery system. And that will happen. It's all happening. We're going to build new bridges and airports and highways and waterways all across this magnificent land. And you know what we're doing with your locks? We're going to start that as soon as I get back. I told you, Congressman, write that name down for me. It's the Army Corps of Engineers. We're going to be calling them. It could be tonight, depending on the time I get back. But it might be tomorrow, even though it's a Sunday. Can I call it a Sunday? Is that okay? No? Your lock. It's not working too well, right? Not working too well. Well, it hasn't been fixed in 50 years, in all fairness. It'd be nice to fix it. After spending all that money in the Middle East, can you imagine? We can't fix a lock. We'll get it fixed. We're going to put new steel into the spine of our country and breathe new life and new hope into our beautiful communities. And in everything we do and every decision we make, we will stand up and we're going to be proud. You know what? We're going to be proud of America again. We are going to stand up for America. And we're not going to apologize anymore for America. You know, I told you before, we've done a lot. We've done more than anybody in a year. We're here for 16 months. And honestly, it just feels like we've been here a long time together because the fight has been a long fight. But did you ever think we would have accomplished what we've accomplished in this short period of time? Do you know, part of the problem the country had, and one of the reasons our jobs are doing so well, our companies are doing so well, wages are going up, because we had regulations which were staggering. It would take 20 years to get a highway or a roadway approved environmentally. It would take years and years to get the simplest permits. I got rid of those rules and regulations. And by the way, we're going to have crystal clean water. We're going to have beautiful, clean air. We're going to be great. We're going to reject people if they don't have the right project. But projects aren't going to take 18 years to get approved. And then in many cases, it's thumbs down after working 18 years. No, we're going to get it done. We're going to stand up for places like Detroit that need help. We're going to stand up. And we're going to stand up for great states like Michigan, and we've done that. This is the state where Henry Ford invented the assembly line. This is it. It's the state that gave us Motown, the Mustang, and the might of the American Midwest. It's a great state. It is where generations of proud workers at General Motors and Chrysler and Kellogg transformed our nation and changed the entire world. We were the leader, and now we're the leader again, and everybody is seeing it. And don't forget this, we have increased the values over the last 16 months tremendously. We are almost twice the size of the next largest economy. Remember that. Don't forget that. Don't forget that. And we're going to be growing very fast. It's time to look past the old divisions, tired thinking, the stale debates of the past, and finally come together as one nation under God. One nation under God. We are one people with one home and one great American destiny. Remember what I said. They're looking at us all over the world. When Chancellor Merkel came in to see me, she said, "Congratulations, Mr. President. What you've done is incredible with your economy." When the President of France came in to see me, President Macron, wonderful guy. Emmanuel, we like shaking each other's hand. Now, he's a great guy. And she's terrific. But you know what? She's for Germany. He's for France. I'm for the USA, okay? Does that make sense? But when Emmanuel came in, and when Angela came in, they said, "Amazing, congratulations. What we've done in a short period of time is incredible." So regulations. We've cut more regulations in this 15 to 16 months than any other president has cut in 4 years, 8 years, or, as you know, FDR, in one case, 16 years. And it's not even close. We inherit the legacy of the great Americans who constructed the railroads, tamed the frontiers, built the highways, carved out the Panama Canal, and put a man on the face of the moon. And by the way, excuse me, do you see how our space program is going? A little different. And we're letting those rich guys that like rockets, go ahead, use our property, pay us some rent, go ahead. You can use Cape Canaveral, you just pay us rent and spend that money. Pretty amazing, right? Where the engine came, you know, it wasn't going up, that was great. But how about where the engines come down? They come down, they come down, they land so they can use them again. That looks like futuristic, beautiful stuff. We have reinvigorated our space program to a level that nobody thought possible in this short period of time. NASA is back. NASA is back. And Mars is waiting for us, you know that. Great. You know what it is? It's great. It's science, important. Very important militarily, folks. Very important. We have the best military. We now, again, we have the best military in the world. We're going to have a military, the likes of which nobody has ever had, the best that we've ever had by far. And these are the times when you want to have a very powerful military. You don't want to have to use it, but you have to have it. We stand on the shoulders of patriots who poured out their sweat and blood and tears for our country, for our flag, and for our God. As long as we are proud of who we are and what we're fighting for, there is nothing beyond our reach. There's nothing. Look what happened to us, right? Here we are. Look what happened to us. You know, a poll came out the other day. Rasmussen, I was at 51%. And then they said, you don't read about that. You never hear them talking. You watch this fake CNN. Well, the polls. Do you ever notice? They're always talking. You ever notice CNN? Well, you know, he's not very popular. They were saying that before the last election victory. And now we're much higher than that. But they said 51%. And then some genius analyst said, but he's got at least 10% of the people that don't want to say they're voting for him. And you know what I say to that? We'll take them anyway, whatever it takes. Huh? I don't know if it's an insult or not, but you know what? We love those people. Because those people came out in the last election and they said, don't talk to us. We'd like to know, how are you voting? Don't talk to me. They go in, Trump, they come out. Remember the exit polls? The exit polls, they come out. Who did you vote for? None of your business. 100% those people are for Trump. We love those people. We love them. We love those people. You know, there was a mayor of a certain city. By the way, is this better than that phony Washington White House correspondence? Is this more fun? I could be up there tonight smiling like I love where they're hitting you shot after shot. These people, they hate your guts, shot. And then I'm supposed to... And you know, you got to smile. And if you don't smile, they'll say, he was terrible, he couldn't take it. And if you do smile, they'll say, what was he smiling about? You know, there's no way. We are proud to be Americans. And the future belongs to us. The future belongs, remember that, future belongs to us. The future belongs to all of you. This is our moment. We've never had a moment like this. The economy is raging. Our military is strong and getting stronger. Every single day, we're ordering the greatest equipment in the world. We make the greatest military equipment in the world. Look at what happened in Syria. Boom, boom, bing. You know, after the attack, we had to do that. People cannot use gas. Frankly, they shouldn't use anything. But they can't drop the gas, and it was gas. But you know, when we did it, you remember it came out, oh, they hit 23 of our missiles. Then they said, we shot 43, and they hit 43 of our missiles. We shot about 110. You know how many they hit? None. Zero. None. You know how many of our missiles hit their target? 100%. 100%. And the British and the French were great. Great team. It's a great team. But this is our chance. We've never had a chance like this. We're taking our country back. You have just no idea. So many people come up to me, thank you, sir, thank you. I say, for what? For what? You're taking our country back. It's true. So many people, they say, thank you, sir. I always say, for what? They say, sir, you're taking our country back. And it's true. It's true. You're all taking our country back. You know, in the great state of Tennessee, a congressman, a wonderful guy, came up to me. They have very early voting. This was before the election. They have early voting, and came up to me, and the voting had just started. And I was in Pennsylvania making a speech. He's a friend of a Pennsylvania congressman, and they were together in Pennsylvania. And he comes up to me and goes, I wasn't president then, we're campaigning. And the election had just started. So with the early voting, he says to me, you know, Mr. Trump, he called me. He goes, I don't know what's happening in the rest of the country, but Tennessee early voting, I have been doing this stuff for 25 years, and I've never seen anything like it. People that are great Americans, but they never voted before because they never had anybody that they wanted to vote for. They work hard. They pay taxes. They're coming out of the hills and out of the valley. They've got the red caps on. They've got the Make America Great on. They've got the Trump on. And I don't know what's happening, but if every place is like Tennessee, you're going to win this election, Mr. Trump. True. So true. He said, I've never seen anything like it. And you know what? We're higher now than we were on Election Day. We're higher now. Because now people are seeing the results. It's actually easier because people are actually seeing the result. Before I said, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, we're going to get a tax cut, we're going to get rid of the individual mandate, we're going to do all these things. Judges, regulations. Now, I've done it. Somebody from the news, I won't call it, in this case, fake news, because he turns out to be right, said Trump is one of the only people ever that actually accomplished more than he promised. And it's true. I accomplished, I'm a politician, I guess, but I accomplished more than I promised, and I'm doing it for you. Our great journey together is just beginning. So with love in our hearts and hope in our souls, I say these words again. You've heard them before. You've liked them before. We can't say them too much. Because together we will make America strong again. Together we will make America wealthy again. Together we will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
There you have it. President Trump wrapping up a rally in Washington, Michigan, celebrating an economic revival in America and taking on some of his harshest critics, including the mainstream media, many of whom are gathered this evening in Washington, D.C. for the White House Correspondents' Dinner. The president skipping those festivities for the second straight year. Here's the president on the media.
One of the fake news groups this morning now, they were saying, what do you think President Trump had to do with it? I'll tell you what. Like, how about everything?
All right, that was President Trump talking about not getting any credit for helping broker the talks between North and South Korea. Let's bring in conservative commentator Dr. Gina Loudon, who is a member of President Trump's Media Advisory Board and former senior advisor to Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, Philippe Reines. All right.
Close enough.
You know, we always struggle with your name, Philippe.
I know.
It's not our fault. I believe it's your parents. Dr. Gina, I want to start with you. I mean, this was an hour and 20-minute speech. The rest of the media is in Washington, toasting themselves and patting themselves on the back. I don't think CNN's even covering this rally, which is strange because they consider themselves real news. What did you think of the president's counter-programming tonight?
Dragon energy, Jesse. This was classic Trump at a classic rally. He went longer than than other presidents would certainly go at a rally. Of course, other presidents didn't have rallies, and he outlined who his enemies are, outlined what his accomplishments are, and outlined his goals. And so classic Trump, good stuff. Loved it.
Yeah, very much a campaign rally, Philippe. I mean, this is Michigan. He eked out a historic victory there over Hillary Clinton, and I think this was paid for by the campaign, so definitely politics in the air. And speaking of politics, brought something up that's making everybody in this country very angry. The attack on Dr. Jackson, who was nominated to the VA secretary. A lot of the things that Jon Tester, the senator from Montana, said turned out to be flat out wrong, could not even prove them. The things about crashing a car while inebriated or being drunk and knocking on doors in South America, the Secret Service checked those allegations out, could not find any evidence at all. The president mentioned that in the speech tonight. Let's hear what he had to say.
What they said about this great American Dr. Ronnie Jackson, an admiral in the Navy. He served 3 presidents. President Obama said he was fantastic. President Bush said he was fantastic. I say he's fantastic. This is a high-quality individual like they would love in Montana. And Tester started throwing out things that he's heard. Well, I know things about Tester that I could say, too. And if I said him, he'd never be elected again.
So, Philippe, you have to admit that smear of Dr. Jackson by Senator Tester, pretty disgraceful.
No, I don't have to say that, but I'll tell you the facts, which I don't know that we know now. We will, hopefully. There's only one man that could nominate Ronnie Jackson to be Secretary of the VA, and there's only one man that could undo that, and that was Donald Trump. If he wanted Ronnie Jackson to be the Veterans Affairs Secretary, it probably would have happened. It was Donald Trump who on Thursday said, yeah, he wasn't really qualified. It's Donald Trump who basically led him to water to revoke his nomination.
I think he said maybe he wasn't politically qualified, but that was before he knew that these allegations against his character were flat out untrue allegations.
I think we could agree that Donald Trump does not run away from a fight. He ran away from this one pretty fast. And look, if he's so sure, then he can renominate Dr. Jackson on Monday.
I agree. You know what? If Dr. Jackson wanted to stay and fight, he could have stayed and fight. President Trump could have fought that battle as well. But I think you and I would both agree that if there was a nomination coming out of a Democratic president and there was unfounded smears put out by a Republican senator that didn't check out, that would be pretty salacious and there'd be hell to pay.
I would add that a Democratic president, especially one that I hope would win, probably would have vetted the person before nominating them.
He looks like he vets with his gut, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That got him the presidency, so it's usually right.
But it's not working with his cabinet.
I want to play some sound that the president, some things he said about Jim Comey, who's, you know, is on his book tour. He mentioned Jim Comey's performance on Bret Baier's show, Fox News. Gina, let's get your reaction before we listen.
How about this guy Comey? He said the other night, the fake, dirty dossier, he said the other night on Fox, he said very strongly, no, I didn't know that it was paid for by the Democrats and Hillary Clinton. He didn't know. He didn't know. How about that? They start something based on a document that was paid for by the DNC and Hillary Clinton. Honestly, folks, let me tell you, it's a disgrace. But you watch Comey, and you watch the way he lies. And then he's got the memos. I wonder when he wrote the memos, right? Then he's got the memos, and he puts them up. Watch the way he lies. It's the most incredible thing. Do you remember John Lovitz? Do you remember? The liar. Well, Comey's worse. Comey's a liar and a leaker. I did you a great favor when I fired this guy.
So, Dr. Gina, I mean, it was pretty astounding to hear the former FBI director said he had no idea Hillary paid for the dossier. In fact, he thought Republicans paid for it. I mean, what is going on with that man?
Yeah, I don't know, Jesse. It really, and I'm glad that the president delineated who the actual colluders are here. He laid out very clearly that all this time where they've been trying to prove Trump-Russia collusion, the actual collusion was with the Democrats, between the Democrats and the Russians, between the Democrats and the media. And that was an important delineation that he made, and I think that's the one that will carry us into the midterms.
All right, Felipe, I got to let you go. And so, Dr. Gina, because Trump went so long, we want to get some of our other guests in here. But thank you guys so much for sticking around. And we'll have you on again soon.
Thank you, Jesse.
Thanks, Jesse.
All right, joining me now by phone, former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski, who was actually at the rally. Corey, you there?
Hey, Jesse, how are you?
I'm good. I mean, I'm sitting back. You're a big celebrity now. The president actually brought you up to the podium to address the crowd. What was it like there? Do we have Corey? All right, we lost Corey. I want to play some sound from the rally. We have some great stuff talking about some of the MS-13 members that have poured into the country across the southern border. The president addressing the need to secure the southern border. Let's hear it.
The Democrats don't care about our military. They don't. They don't care, and they don't care about our borders. And I don't think they care much about crime. Because if you look at it, MS-13, they pour through, everybody pours through, and they want it. They want it. And by the way, we are getting rid of MS-13 in record numbers, okay? Record numbers.
So the president making the border a very big issue at the rally tonight. He talked about the caravan, you know, coming in from Honduras that's winding its way up through Mexico and across the border. Talked about how easy it was to just you set foot on American soil, and then you go to court and you say, I'm scared, and then they tell you to come back to court in a year. No one ever shows up. He spent a good portion talking about the southern border and the need to secure it. Talked about building the wall. The wall is already underway, and touted his cooperation with the city of San Diego to be able to do that. Also, President Trump addressing black unemployment tonight in Michigan, a topic he touched on earlier this week. He giving props to his newly outspoken supporter, Kanye West. And I think Kanye came up at the rally tonight. Let's hear President Trump talk about Kanye at the rally.
By the way, in all fairness, Kanye West gets it. He gets it. He gets it. And he saw that. When he sees that African American unemployment is the lowest in history, you know, people are watching. That's a very important thing he's done for his legacy. It's a very important thing. But Hispanic unemployment, lowest level in history. Women, female unemployment, lowest level in 18 years.
Okay, joining me now, Communications Director for Turning Point USA and new star in America, Candace Owens. So, Candace, he spoke tonight about black unemployment being at record low, and talked about his new friend Kanye West. Now, do you think that Kanye is throwing his support behind President Trump because of his economic policies for black America?
For sure. I think what Kanye West is doing is essentially assessing the differences between how black America is doing now versus how it was doing under Obama's administration. He's understanding the facts are the facts. We know that we know that Kanye has particularly cared a lot about Chicago and its community and what's been going on over there because that's where he's from. And quite frankly, they're just doing a lot better under this administration. I mean, that's what it comes down to. So I'm really excited to see where black America is going to head. And I'm very excited that Kanye West has jumped on board fully, and he seems to be doubling and tripling down with his support.
And black America, I mean, I think 90% votes for Democrats. Whites are almost evenly split, maybe a little bit more Republican. Hispanics and Asians, it's about 60-30. Why do you think, as a black woman in America, that there's such a monolithic group that supports the Democratic Party in black America?
It's very simple. You have to remember, Jesse, I come from the left. I was a liberal, and I can tell you exactly why. It has to do with the educational system. We learned our history wrong. We learned that LBJ was the greatest president for black America, and that couldn't be more false. I mean, what he did essentially enslaved us, the Democratic Party, with the Great Society Act. Then it starts with our family. We look to culture and hip-hop to define what we should think, which is why Jay-Z and Beyonce were always at the White House when Obama was in it. And that starts with the breakdown of the black family. Our fathers are not in our homes because that was incentivized by LBJ's Great Society Act. So it really is a two-pronged approach, and they have sufficiently have all of us voting for them for all of the wrong reasons. We don't understand our history, and we don't understand the economic policies behind it.
So you think the education system in this country teaches black Americans that big government policies started by LBJ and the Great Society are good for them, but you're saying that those big government policies, in fact, have maybe stifled the growth of the black America?
This honestly is not a matter of opinion. This is a matter of a fact because I came up in the public school education. We also learned that the Republican Party is virtually demonized in our textbooks. I always say the #1 issue facing the black community is education. We need a real education makeover. Most blacks still believe that the Republican and the Democratic parties switched in the 1970s, and that's just an absolute myth. That never happened under something called the Southern Strategy. It's just not real. So most people it's not something that they're willfully being ignorant. They're learning to be ignorant in the school systems, and once again at homes via culture. They're idolizing people that are not telling them what's actually and accurately going on in our communities.
Well, listen, I know because I've hit the streets, and when you ask people, was Abraham Lincoln a Republican or a Democrat, I think about half the people that I interview think Abraham Lincoln was a Democrat. Candace Owens.
That's true.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
All right, now we have Corey Lewandowski on the phone. Is that true? No, we don't have Corey. Okay. We don't have Corey Lewandowski, so what we're going to do instead, we're going to play some more sound from President Trump, and then we're going to go to Mike Tobin, one of the reporters from Fox News who was actually at the rally. Let's hear some more sound from the president tonight in Michigan.
I'm tougher on Russia. Nobody ever thought. Look at how these politicians have fallen for this junk. Russian collusion. Give me a break. I'll tell you, the only collusion is the Democrats colluded with the Russians, and the Democrats colluded with lots of other people. Take a look at the intelligence agencies. And what about, hey, and what about Comey? You watch him on the interviews? What about Comey?
All right, let's go to Mike Tobin, one of our reporters who was at the rally. Mike, this rally, I think, pretty typical of the Trump rallies so far. I mean, he hit all the hits with this border and Nancy Pelosi and taking credit for the peace on the Korean Peninsula. What struck you as someone that's been to a few of these?
I suppose what caught my attention was a discussion about NASA when he said that Mars is waiting. That was one I wasn't ready for, and certainly very interesting. I, of course, paid attention to Syria because I just got back from the Middle East with covering that, and when the president summed it up, I believe his quote was bada boom, bada bang, in terms of summing up what happened with Syria in terms of delivery of the weapons. And once again, he said that none of the U.S. weapons were intercepted and 100% hit their targets. Of course, that generated a rousing cheer from the people here. And these are the people, of course, who got Trump elected. They came here very much to be in favor, to like what they hear, very much preaching to the choir. He got involved in local politics. If you listen to the whole thing, Debbie Stabenow is the Michigan senator who's up for re-election, and he tried to mobilize the audience here to get involved in that particular election. Talking about Debbie Stabenow, what he didn't do was talk about the Republicans, and that's because they haven't had the primary yet.
Right.
So he didn't pick one guy.
So, Mike,
I
was also struck with the Mars comment. I had no idea we were that close to visiting the Red Planet. He bragged about charging some people like Elon Musk or some of these other billionaires with their private space shuttles to use Cape Canaveral. I didn't know we were charging a fee to some of these people to use those facilities. That's good for the Treasury, I guess. And then I don't think I've ever heard anybody kind of tout the accuracy rate of Tomahawk missiles that struck some sites in Syria. So with the boom, boom, bing, I think the patriotic crowd really enjoyed this kind of muscular American approach to world affairs and universal affairs. Is that how you saw it?
Yeah, that was it. And I also thought in terms of dealing with the other world leaders, he kept going back to this notion that I don't blame them for taking advantage of America. It's in their best interest to serve their country. He said, I blame the previous presidents. And was a little bit harsh when he came out blaming his predecessors. But he said, indicated that it's not going to happen anymore, that America's going to be strong. And you've heard him say over the past couple of days that America's not going to get played anymore. So that, of course, met rousing cheers with a crowd that sides with him really from the beginning.
Yep. Very popular lines. Mike, thanks very much. Appreciate you coming on.
You got it.
All right, now